Hello everyone, and welcome back to DET Coach's Beginner's Guide to the Duolingo English Test. Starting with this lesson, we'll move on to the speaking module. First, we'll learn about the speak about the photo question type and response method. The instruction on the screen is, speak about the image below. You have 20 seconds to observe the image. When the preparation time ends, the system automatically begins recording, and the maximum response time is 1 minute and 30 seconds. The image remains on the screen while you speak, but you have only one attempt and cannot record your response again. This question contributes to the speaking, conversation, and production subscores. As you respond, imagine that you are describing the image to someone who cannot see it. Your task is not to guess a standard answer. It is to help the listener form a general picture of the subjects, actions, positions, and atmosphere in the image. Open-ended speaking responses are evaluated across 5 areas: content, discourse coherence, vocabulary and grammar, fluency, and pronunciation. Your content should be relevant and include enough visible detail. The information should follow a clear order so the listener can follow it easily. Your vocabulary and grammar should be accurate and show some variety. Fluency includes your speaking rate, thought groups, pauses, repetition, and restarts. Pronunciation includes intelligibility, stress, intonation, and rhythm. Do not search for unusual words at the last moment simply to sound advanced, and do not simply name the objects one by one as a list of isolated words. Use familiar language to establish the main idea first, then add details. If you make a mistake while speaking, do not start over. Simplify the sentence, correct the key information, and continue with the description. Now look at the classroom image in the lesson materials. In the foreground, a person wearing graduation attire stands with their back to the camera. In front of them is a crowd attending a ceremony. The main subject is not the crowd in the background, but the graduate close to the camera. The person is wearing a dark academic gown and a black graduation cap, and the purple tassel is especially noticeable. The main idea of the image is simple. A graduate is standing at an outdoor graduation ceremony. During the 20-second preparation period, do only 2 things. Identify the main idea and remember a few details. First, decide what kind of scene this is and what the most important person or object is doing. Then scan the foreground and background, noting one detail from each that will be easy to describe. For this image, you can remember graduate at an outdoor ceremony, dark gown and purple tassel, and crowd in the background. When the recording begins, describe the overall scene in 1 sentence, then describe the main subject, followed by details in the foreground and background. If the image provides enough evidence, add 1 cautious inference. Once the information is clear, you can finish. Do not repeat the same sentence or discuss a personal experience unrelated to the image. Now organize the description into 5 steps. Step 1 is to identify the subject and location in 1 sentence. This image mainly shows subject and overall scene in or at, location. Step 2 begins with the foreground, or main subject, and describes position and action. In the foreground, nearby detail, while main subject's action or arrangement. Step 3 adds another nearby detail, then moves attention to the background. Looking more closely, second visible detail and its relationship to the subject, farther back, background detail and the sense of depth it creates. Step 4 selects one genuinely noticeable detail and explains why it stands out. One detail that stands out is specific detail, especially because why it is noticeable. Step 5 uses at least 2 visible clues to support an inference while identifying what cannot be confirmed. Based on 2 visible clues, the scene appears to be cautious inference, although information that cannot be confirmed is difficult to confirm. You can finish with 1 sentence that gives an overall impression. Overall, the image presents overall summary, and the atmosphere seems overall impression. These 5 steps form an observation route. You do not need to force every sentence into every response. Use fewer inferences for a simple image. When an image contains more detail, explain more of the relationships between the main subject and the background. Now listen to the complete model response. This image mainly shows a graduate standing at an outdoor ceremony. In the foreground, the person is seen from behind in a dark academic gown and a black cap with a purple tassel, while facing the audience. Looking more closely, the bright tassel contrasts with the gown. Farther back, rows of graduates and guests form a large, blurred crowd. One detail that stands out is the formal clothing, especially because similar caps appear throughout the audience. Based on the clothing and gathering, the scene appears to be a graduation ceremony, although the exact school is difficult to confirm. Overall, the image presents an important public event, and the atmosphere seems proud and celebratory. This response does not list every object in the image one by one. It remains focused on the main idea of the graduation ceremony. From the overall scene to the main subject, then the foreground, background, and prominent detail, every sentence adds new visible information. The final inference is not an unsupported guess. The academic gown, graduation cap, and assembled crowd all support the conclusion that this is a graduation ceremony. During practice, you can use 100 to 130 words as a reference range, but do not sacrifice clarity to reach a particular word count. Using familiar words accurately and coherently is more important than piling up complex expressions. I'll see you in the next lesson.